Hello everyone, this is Ichimaru378. Just wanted to do a video response to Lao Tzu's video, why is everyone staring at me? Or why are you staring at me? I think that was the title of it. Uh, just had a couple comments and maybe some advice. First, I did agree with everything that Lao Tzu said, so you might hear some stuff repeated. Um, yeah, I think sometimes when people are have a situation where they think people are staring at them because of like race or like interracial, maybe like because they're in an interracial relationship, or because they think the person who's staring at them is staring at them because of their race. I think this stems from probably a couple of things, um, but mostly I think it's from people being insecure in themselves and doubting what something about themselves. So I remember when I was younger, um, I used to sometimes I felt like people were staring at me. Why is somebody staring at me? And now I realize like you know I, everyone gets looked at, and people look at other people. I mean, it's just natural that your eyes move, and sometimes people look at you, sometimes you look at other people. Um, but when you see somebody looking at you and you assume that it's because some negative thing, I think that's because of some negative thing inside of you. And like Lao Tzu said, it's like people project their the way they think that other people think like that, when it might not necessarily be true. It could be true, but it might not necessarily be true. And to think that someone is thinking negative about you when you're not sure, um, might cause a problem that might not be there. So it's better to just be positive and to think positively about other people until they show you different. I mean, who knows? We don't know why people, what's in their mind, what they're thinking. I mean, like when I see people out, sometimes I might look, and just because you don't see it too often, but uh, I don't think anything negative. I'm, just like looking because you don't really see it, and that's natural. I mean, I have a lot of experiences like that just from traveling. I mean, my wife is from South Korea. She's South Korean. She's from South Korea, so um, traveling there several times and different cities is different. Um, people stare someplace other more than others, and when I first got there, I was real sensitive, coming from here where people don't really not as much as I experienced it there. People stare here, but there it was really bad. Like in the beginning, I'd be on the subway and people would really just be like staring at you, like, I mean, not a mean face or anything, just staring. And usually you look at someone, and if they're staring, they'll look away, but they didn't look away. They were really like, wow, like, you know, and it was really annoying at first, and I just had it explained to me that, like they're just not used to it. They're just not used to it. It's probably some of them the first time they've seen like a black person in front of their face, like, so, realizing that and just trying not to be so sensitive about it, and there's not much you can do about others, but you can control the way you think. So that's probably that helped me to deal with things that you can't control from other people, and especially when you don't know what they're thinking. I never had anybody say anything, like something racist or anything like that. I don't think people really uh, had something like that in their mind, but it was just like it was explained to me, like they had never seen it before, and they were just looking because it was just something that was interesting to them, and I'm pretty sure if they had the language ability, they probably would have talked to me, asked some questions like a normal conversation, but because all they could do was stare, that's what they did. So, I mean, that was just my own experience there, and other places and stuff. So yeah, that was the first thing. The second thing is probably like on a larger scale, like the whole issue of race is, I know it's real sensitive to a lot of people, but what I think is that if people can just start to think on a larger scale and like more open-mindedly about this issue, like if they just think about it, because one experience I had was, and this is something that made me think, was I was at school at the university I used to go to, and I was walking up to the library, had my book bag on, and a African American woman was coming down the stairs, and we passed, and she looked at me, and I think I smiled at her, but or maybe I just kept going. I didn't know her, so I kept going, and she stopped me and said, I went to an all-black college, and we used to greet each other when we saw each other. And she made it a point to tell me that, even though she didn't know me, and she just thought that I should have acknowledged her and greeted her simply based on the fact that we were both African American. So, I had to think about it, and I was like, I mean, it's not exactly the same, but it's coming from the same like root that, to hate someone because of their skin color is from the same root as liking someone because of their skin color, or feeling that you should talk to someone or interact with someone because just solely based on their skin color. And I just didn't agree with that. I said, if you're going to be cordial or nice to people, you should be nice to all people. Because first of all, I didn't have a choice what skin color I was born with, and neither did she. So to give someone some special status, or to deprive someone of some rights that they have based on just solely something that none of us had a choice in, is not, that doesn't seem right to me. So so you can see it from both sides: people that are racist and people who experience racism, and from that experience they develop negative attitudes towards other groups of people, or they develop like a I don't know what to call it, like a superiority, or like a preference towards a certain race of people just based on race. I see it as the same thing. I mean, it's two different ends of the spectrum, but it's the same, coming from the same misconception that people are divided or come together based on race, where I don't think that it should be like that. I think what really divides people is what they think and what they believe in. So that you can have people coming from totally different backgrounds, but if they have the same beliefs, and if they agree on certain common basic like rights and morals, then they can be together and they can exist together in peace. So I don't know if that makes sense to people, but I mean that's the conclusion I came to just from experiences I had. So for the person who had that experience, just like trying not to be so sensitive, which is not easy, because we live in a world it's always thrown in your face, this race thing, like, people have this problem about racism and stuff. So people think it's a big deal, but I don't really think it's the main issue. I don't think it's one of the main issues. I don't think it has to be. I think it's a simple thing that if people change the way they think, then it doesn't need to be like that. So that was my thoughts on that. Let me know what you guys think, and maybe you guys have some other opinions. I'd like to hear them. Thanks for viewing the video.